Well, hello, YouTube modeling community. That's right, it's the Fat Man from Alabama coming to you from Don's Garage. Well, today we got a little video here on the basic tools that you may need to build your model and to do some scratch building. I've had quite a bit. Apparently, I've had quite a bit of interest in my scratch building stuff and multiple questions. So I'm going to answer them best I can through the videos. Here you see these are my basic, everybody's got this, just a good old-fashioned X-Acto knife handle with a number 11 blade in it. I try to keep a fresh blade in it as much as possible. I've been buying my blades this way. It's 15 blades. I don't really remember the cost. Whenever I open up a package of new ones, I label it new blades because I'll use a couple of fresh blades actually while I'm foiling a car. They dull down as far as cutting foil. They still work for doing other things to build a model, so I have another one of these containers that I put those blades in. They're marked used blades. And I know to use those when I'm cutting plastic, trimming parts, stuff like that. I've become a big fan of this type of knife handle and blade when I'm cutting sheet plastic, any of my evergreen plastic that I use. This blade, these get used quite a bit. Like I said, this is an X-Acto brand. A couple of years ago, I found this one. It's a Tamiya brand, and the thing I like about this one is it's kind of universal for left hand or right hand. If you'll notice, there's a difference in the head here. This one, the center point is centered. It's not offset for the blade. That way you can use it either left-handed or right-handed. Now the problem I'm having though, having a hard time finding replacement blades now. I'm going to get on the internet and source them there. I used to be able to get them kind of local, and it's getting difficult. Now I know there's some off-brand blades out there that and I found those. The problem with them, they're cheaply made. The blades don't last no time. I go through those like crazy. These last a little bit longer than name brand stuff, so that's what I'm looking for. Another one, this is a cheap handle that it'll handle a number 11 blade. I got this a whole knife set some 10 years ago or so as a Christmas present. Now here I have this is a small saw blade that comes from X-Acto, or used to. Again, I'm having a hard time finding these too, and have for some time. The blade, well, you can see here it's bent. This one will flex. It'll get into some areas that my bigger saw won't, and it's more of a job, harder to do with the X-Acto, so I use this. Then I have my various backbone saws, for chopping on bodies, chassis, and such. I have two. This one is for plastic only. I wrote on it with a Sharpie. Of course, it started to rub off. This blade is used for metal and needs to be replaced. I do keep the blades separate. I have one marked for plastic, and obviously the other one with no markings for metal. That way it helps the life of the blade. Once you've cut metal, makes it cutting plastic that much more difficult. Getting a little bit into, like I said, staying with the tools. This is a scribing tool I've had, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Testors. I've had this thing for so long, but if we can get it to focus here, you can see it's got a really sharp point. This is for scribing panel lines. I have used it to start scribing the body if I want to cut something, like when I move the wheel openings. I'll use this to scribe the lines and then finish cutting it with a saw. Another tool, that I have around. It's a little more advanced, but this helps me in measuring, checking diameters of wire, everything, tubing, various things like that. This is a cheap Pittsburgh digital caliper I got from Harbor Freight, and I caught it on sale, so they're less than $20 retail. But I wouldn't say it's accurate enough to start making stuff on a real car engine, but it gets close enough on this stuff. It works great. I'll use this to say I'm wanting to back half a chassis, and there's a kit frame I'm using most of the kit frame. I'll use this to get an idea of what the thickness of the kit frame is, so I can then go back and pick my evergreen, whatever size to get close to it. It's a very handy little tool. A lot of measurements I can measure: the tires, wheel diameters, stuff like that, to get stuff to match up. Like I said, it's very valuable to use, to have around. Now this is my trusty little measuring. Oh, so let's turn the right side up. This little ruler, just a little 6-inch. I bought this at a parts house eons ago. It was in a little tool bin. They were like the tool bin was like $1 to $5. So I give somewhere in between $1 and $5 for that. And this has been around for a long time. It's even got a conversion chart on the back. It's a nice straight edge. That's something I did not bring out here. It's also good to have a good metal straight edge, to help you score your plastic, especially when you're cutting sheet plastic. Then we're going to get into sanding stuff. This is a sanding block that I bought at an automotive paint supply store. The block is actually a 6-inch block when you get it. It's a pliable material, stiff but pliable a little bit. I cut it down in different sizes, like this piece here. This is another one, and I actually cut a little bit of an angle. This helps me when I'm doing the sides of a hood scoop. I wrap sandpaper around it. The thing with sanding, use a block or stick as often as possible, because it's flat. Your fingers, they're not flat. It's it's bumpity, 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 and that's going to give you the more ridges on the sandpaper, the more ridges are going to be in the body. Like I said, I use various sanding blocks. This is another one. This came in my polishing kit that I bought some 25, 30 years ago. Still around. I also use this stuff to prop stuff up on when I'm cutting a part off the sprue. If the sprue won't lay flat on the bench, I can maneuver it around on the edges here to where I can get a good cut without snapping and spitting apart across the room. And it's also, when a knife goes into this, it's a little easier on the blade. This one here, this block is a little more pliable than the others. As you can see, it's very flexible. This I use when I'm polishing or wet sanding the body. Again, I'm still using a pad, but this is a little more limber. Helps get into the nooks and crannies and stuff a little better. Here we have a fingernail file is what this is. I buy these at Sally Hansen Beauty Salon Supply Store. They're around like $1.25 a piece. I use a lot of these. You can cut them. It's got like a foam board in the middle. They're stiff, but yet they flex a little bit. It's a great little tool to use. This is another thing I get at Sally's. Foam block. Works great. I can take that. I've cut them up, as you can see here. Different sizes and thicknesses and whatnot. Cut them with scissors. Again, very useful to have around. I've had these forever. I couldn't even tell you where I got them. Different grits on each handle. You can take, it's spring loaded, Boy, this stuff don't want to focus today, fellas. There we go. And you can wrap this, rotates around. Again, I've had these for 25, 30 years at least. Another very useful deal. And they sell replacement strips. This is the variety pack. Comes in with 5 different grits from Excel. I bought this to see how their paper is going to hold up before I buy individual packages of each grit. Well, folks, we're going to finish this video off. I hope this is helpful. There's more videos like this coming in the near future. Like I said, I'm going to share what I know. I hope it helps somebody. So remember, folks, live, love, and laugh. And remember, build the model for you. Take care, everyone. This is Don, leaving the garage. I will see y'all in the next video. Take care.